Welcome to the Red Half of Sheffield preview pod. Another one on the docket this time. Burnley come to Bramall Lane on Boxing Day. And from the TurfCast, I am joined by Joe. Joe, how are you doing? He's, oddly enough, as we're recording, is on his break at work. So short for time, but yeah. Oh, Joe, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. How are you? You all right?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Let's get into it. How has Burnley's season gone? Being Sheffield United, a lot of United fans keep an eye to what Burnley's doing because there's so much tied to because we always go up and down with each other.
Yeah.
So how has Burnley got on?
Yeah, we seem to be starting to finally click now. We're obviously below you by I think it's 4 points at the minute. Obviously would have been 6 if you guys didn't have the -2 deduction. But yeah, we had a slow start at the start of the season, other than the first 2 games where we did below Luton and Cardiff away. But then after that, we slowed down. We sold a lot of players, brought a lot of players in, and then we were really, really slow to get going again. And we lost a lot of points really in them sort of games. Like if a team comes to the turf, or even when we play away, and just sits back in a low block, we really struggle to break these kind of teams down. Whereas I see yourselves and Leeds still being able to break these teams down. I think that's why we're beneath yourselves and Leeds, because you guys will, especially Leeds, they'll just blow teams away like they did to Oxford yesterday. And they've done it to Plymouth and loads of teams at Ellen Road. Whereas yourselves, you just seem to professionally get the job done. Like you'll win 1-0. Your XG might be quite low if people are bothered about that. But what does it matter? You're getting the job done. So, yeah, we have slowly started to get better. I think we're unbeaten in 9 now, 6 wins out of the last 8 games. So, yeah, we are starting to turn a corner. But that's because of some of the games we've had recently have played into our hands. Like Watford came to the turf yesterday and they were on the front foot. They played us in an attacking sort of like style. They pressed us, not very well, but they still pressed us, and it gave us a chance to be able to break that press and create some chances. We played really well yesterday, actually. So fingers crossed we can take that confidence into the game on Boxing Day.
Yeah, as you mentioned, yeah, it was a little bit of a head scratcher why Burnley started a bit slower because you would have thought they would have been, you know, like when we were in this division 2 years ago, and
Yeah,
it was us two, and we just walked the league for the entire season. Uh, yeah, it was a little bit of a head scratcher, but I mean, now you've kicked on, and as you mentioned, you're only four points off the top. If you go into Bramall Lane and win on Boxing Day, you trim that gap to 1. Um, Scott Parker, your thoughts on him as the manager? Were you a fan of when he came in and his 10,000,000 outfits that he wears on the touchline?
I love his outfits. Like, it genuinely, you don't know which one's going to turn up. Is he going to be wearing
Yeah.
the turtleneck? Tends to be saved. Sorry, for the press conferences. He doesn't tend to do the turtleneck for the touchline. But on the touchline, he wears that beautiful Tom Brown coat, which I've seen on Twitter somewhere costs like £4,500. So obviously somewhere around obviously $6,000, which a lot of money. A lot
Yeah.
of money. You could put a deposit down for a house in Burnley for about £4,500. To be fair. But to be honest, when we were being linked with him, I didn't particularly want him. But I thought he was a better option than Lampard. We
Yeah.
weren't really getting linked to some great names, if I'm honest with you. We were getting linked to Ruud van Nistelrooy at one point, but I think that was the only guy that I looked at and I thought, yeah, I'll take him. So when Parker came in, I did originally feel it was underwhelming, and I did say that at the time. But then we smashed Luton 4-1, smashed Cardiff 5-0. We're all thinking, well, he's an attacking manager. That's 9 goals in 2 games. But then that's when everything started to unravel. You said then you felt like it was a bit of a head scratcher while we started slowly. It was just because of the way that the board dealt with the transfer window. I look at Sheffield United and I feel like you did everything right in the summer. You recruited well, you did it early, you got your business done, you signed some good players who know the championship. We didn't do it like that. We kept hold of all the players that we wanted to try and keep all the way up until the end of the window. And then all of a sudden, when the window comes, like we're selling like a player every day for like a week. Like I'm not even exaggerating. We were selling somebody every single day. There were players refusing to play that then got sold on and stuff like that. It were a mess. And then obviously we have to then replace all these players. So then your likes of Hannibal, Anthony, Fleming, all them come in. So that's why we got off to a slow start. And yes, there was a lot of unrest among some fans, unjust in my opinion. I think he's been dealt a bit of a harsh hand by the board. So I've been happy with the job that he's done so far. Like to look at where we are in the league, yes, some people look at it and say, well, you spent X amount of money. I'm sure you guys get that as well. It doesn't really matter. Like when you look at the amount of players that we lost and lost so suddenly, then the amount of players that we had to bring in to still be within touching distance of Leeds, especially because Leeds, they do just throw money at it. You look at Leeds and you think, oh, they've not gone up. How are they going to be able to survive it? Then all of a sudden, Red Bull come in and chuck them 50 million quid. And you're thinking, we can't really compete with that. Whereas I look at you guys and I just think, professional job, recruited well. Fingers crossed we can for the last few weeks, because like I said, we have been drawing a few games, and before that there was a few wins, but before that we lost to Millwall. That was the last defeat, and there was some draws around there as well. At that point, all Burnley fans were saying, look, let's just keep to within 5, 6, 7 points of Leeds and Sheffield United, recruit well in January, and then hopefully go on a run. We've done better than that. All right, obviously, if you win against us on Boxing Day, the gap will be 7 points. But obviously, there's Leeds as well. So we've done better than that so far. A lot of people didn't think we'd be in this position. So I like him. I think he's done a good job. I will fully admit the football can sometimes be a little bit tedious, but I'm not bothered too much about Burnley being entertaining. I just want Burnley to win games. Don't get me wrong. When we stormed the league under Vincent Kompany, it was entertaining and we were winning games. That is my favourite ever season. But right now, it's just a case of let's get back to the Prem. Let's take the 150, 200 million quid that you get in the Prem and then hopefully regroup and kick on like it seems that, Fulham and Bournemouth and them sort of teams have.
Yeah, and you do make mention of basically before I get into Boxing Day match, what I was going to ask you, are you guys set up to be the same as us in a sense to where you go up and grab the payments, grab the money, kind of rebuild, or are you like, if we get promoted, I would like us to, I'm sick and tired of this up and down, up and down, up and down. I want us to forever stay in the championship because I hate the Premier League. But are you guys, do you feel like it's the same in the same set of light where you guys want to go up and would you rather stay up there or be down here?
I mean, I will caveat with, I've not even said what I'm going to say yet, but I will start off by saying the Championship is the more entertaining league. Like I do prefer being in the Championship, but I don't want to stay in the Championship. And that's not just because of the money. I think you always want to be the best that you can be, and I think it's the wrong attitude to have of, I don't want to go up because the Championship is more entertaining. I do agree it is more entertaining, but you want to dine at the top table. You want to try and prove you're the best and be amongst the best. Like Burnley obviously finished 7th. Not that many seasons, well, quite a few seasons ago now, but managed to get into the Europa League qualifiers. I think the season after that, I think you finished like 8th or 9th, looking like you might finish 7th. So it is possible. And you look at Bournemouth, I know they've got big, billionaires behind them, as do Fulham, but Brentford as well. Like you've got all these clubs that are traditionally smaller clubs that are now upsetting the apple cart a little bit. That used to be us 6 years ago. So I do think the gap's getting big, and I do think you need big billionaires behind you and, ways around FFP and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I do want to be in the Premier League, not just because of the money and everything that brings for the football club, because I think staying in the Championship for too long, you could end up like a Stoke and constantly looking over your shoulder, or even worse, like a Bolton Wanderers, something like that. You don't want to go down that route. I want to be the best that we can be. I do agree the Championship is more entertaining, but I want to be in the Premier League and I want to be doing well in the Premier League. I know that's a tough ask, and that's why a lot of people don't say that, because thinking Burnley will never do well in the Premier League. We've done it before, so fingers crossed we can do it again.
Yeah, no, my sentiment would be the same if we just had a vision like that. I don't feel like, we're kind of rudderless at the moment with whatever's going on with the takeover, the alleged American takeover. If we get that over the line, things might be a little bit different. 2-part question. 1, tell me how you see Boxing Day going, and how John Egan has kicked on for you guys since coming into the. I think I remember it was only a handful of games where he got his first league start for you guys just here recently. Sum up how John Egan's played for you guys and how you think Boxing Day is going to go.
Well, I'll start off with John Egan. So just quickly trying to tap in some stats to get them up for you at the minute with John Egan, but he's not played that well. I've just got the stats on the screen now. So he's made 4 appearances, like you said. Only recently has he managed to get his first start. We obviously signed him quite late on as well. To be fair, he's done a job when he's come in, but that's all we need him to do. It. He's not going to be one of our main defenders. He will be behind Maxime Esteve, who I'm sure you guys will disagree, but in my opinion, is the best defender in the league, and CJ Egan-Riley, who is a different type of defender, a more progressive type of defender. He will ping balls left and right and run with the ball out of centre back into midfield. So them two work really, really well. So he's done okay when he's been called upon. Although having said that, against Middlesbrough, I did think he was playing the goal scorer onside with some sort of like lazy football. But you kind of expect it when somebody's had such a big injury, been out for a while. But Burnley fans like him. Like, I think it might have even come on yesterday towards the end of the match. I can't remember. But we definitely made a late change to bring a defender on. I can't remember if it was him or somebody else. But he's done all right when called upon, but he's not really played that much. And in terms of the Boxing Day game, I think it's two teams that don't score a lot. It's two teams that have got very good defensive records. I think under 2.5 is your play if you are that way inclined. I don't think it's going to be a goal fest. I don't really think it's going to be the most entertaining game in the world. I think it's going to be 1-0 either way. It won't be 5-2, put it that way, or 4-0 or 5-0 like our games have been recently. Famous last words. You can clip all this up. If you beat us 6-1 or something like that, you can make me look very silly. But I genuinely believe it will just be a low-scoring game. Somebody will win it 1-0, or it'll be 0-0 or 1-1. I think Burnley will go to Bramall Lane and try and do what they did at Ellen Road. Sat back, soak up the pressure, hit you on the counter and hopefully come away with 3 points, because Burnley are obviously the only team to win at Ellen Road so far this season. I think since then, they've won every single game and won them pretty comfortably as well. We did get slightly fortuitous with a couple of missed chances from Leeds. Maybe you guys will be more clinical. I think that one thing is I could probably say about you guys from the outside looking in. Again, you'll know more. You do seem to be quite clinical because your XG is a little bit lower quite a bit lower than Leeds, but you're obviously still above them in the league. So yeah, you are quite clinical. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game, defences on top, because it's two very good defences and two strike forces that aren't really putting the ball in the back of net as much as some teams in the league.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree with you on virtually everything you said. The whole thing is I don't see a goal going in either side. I think this finishes a dull 0-0.
I would 100% take that right now. That obviously is better. It keeps it. I guess both sets of fans could potentially take that because it keeps the gap at 4 points for you. So you know you might be happy with that, and obviously we're not then thinking, oh shit, Sheffield United are 7 points clear now.
Yeah.
So I'd be happy if we went to Bramall Lane and stunk the place out. I've just been whinging about Derby and Preston and all these teams coming to the turf and doing that. But if we then did that somewhere else, especially at Bramall Lane, then yeah, I'd take that right now.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I'd take a draw. Yes, I'd love 3 points, but I just think it's going to come. It's going to be two teams that, as you mentioned, don't score. Both teams are probably going to set defensive, and it's just going to be basically like watching paint dry. But we shall find out midweek, day after Christmas, Boxing Day. If you're going to the Bramall Lane, go down there, be loud, make sure Santa brought you everything and you had enough alcohol to dry yourself out on Boxing Day. Before we go, ask every opposition view that comes on the pod. Joe, your match day go-to beverage?
Oh, it depends. Depends what's on tap. I think I went to Bramall Lane, not last season, the season before when you beat us 5-2. I don't think you have great selection in the away end, if I'm honest with you. I do think it's just a Carlsberg, if I remember rightly. But I like ale. I quite like pale ale and stuff like that. Not so much stouts. I think they're a bit heavy, but an IPA, pale ale, I like something like that. So maybe something along them lines. But again, you very rarely go somewhere that has ale on tap. So if I'm going to Bramall Lane, it's probably unfortunately just going to be a Carlsberg. But if I was at home and I had just a choice, I'd be getting either an IPA or a pale ale.
Good deal. Joe, drop where the people can find the podcast and give it a listen.
Yeah, so we're TurfCast. It's me and a few others. I'm like the main guy, the host, the guy that created it all. Then I have some others coming on the show, giving their thoughts, whether it's fan reactions, full-time shows, pre-game shows as well, before matches and things like that. So we do quite a lot of content. Just search TurfCast podcast on any search engine. You'll find the YouTube channel, which we're more YouTube first and sort of like podcast second. But yeah, we're quite big on socials as well. We do a lot of like updates and stuff on social. So we're on all the socials. Just search TurfCast on any social and we will be there.
Good deal. Haven't done so. Red Sheffield, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. You can find us over there. And until we preview West Brom, I will leave you with Up the